In the news up to date from in the news from DeSilvis media this Sunday evening. Last night there have been protests all over the country due to President Donald J. Trump. I almost said Obama. Oh my goodness, don't want to do that. No, but Donald J. Trump. They didn't like it, so all these people were protesting. And immigrants that were in here are illegals, is what I call them. I still call them that. They may not like it because that's the political correctness, but last time I checked, it is a legal word. You can say it, even though a lot of people don't like it. But too bad. But the thing is, they're not document citizens. They shouldn't be here. But the thing is, Trump did something. A judge came out yesterday. That's what all the big protests was all about. A judge came out and went against Trump's executive order to block people from coming from 7 countries. I said 6 countries, I meant 7, that are high-risk terrorist territories, risks where they could come in our country. And all Trump was trying to do is try to make us more safer. And some pollutant judge in the Supreme Court blocked Trump's executive declaration of order. And now they're still allowing these people to still come in here. So it caused, as a result, a bunch of pandemonium with all these protests going on everywhere at the airports and bus stations all throughout America last night and probably today because of what Trump did, even though Trump was trying to do a good thing. But people want to make him look bad. Now Homeland Security are coming forward and saying that Trump is causing this country not to keep America safe, and they're trying to deboggle him and trying to make him look bad as a president figurehead, to try to impeach him possibly. There's talks of that going on, I saw in some news articles, like CNN. All these fake news people that are putting out this propaganda, which is where a lot of it's come from. But, it's like, what I'm trying to say, you see all this stuff happening, and of course Trump was doing a good thing because, we don't want terrorism in this country. I'm sure you don't want it no more than I want it, so we need to keep these people out of our country from those 7 countries because they are a very high threat to us, and they are to every country in the world if they come from those territories. So that's why Trump did that. He didn't ban all refugees, coming in the U.S. He just did those 7 countries. So they made it into something saying he was banning people and sending everybody back home and all this stuff. So that was all lies, because that's not what he did. It's all smear to try to destroy Trump's credibility and character as a president and a person. That's really what all this is really all about, folks. And it's just, smear. It's a smearing campaign. And it's just so wrong. It's almost sad, but in some ways comical. Because, there were people saying stuff about Obama when he was elected. Remember, people wanted to shoot him, and there were 5-6 attempts where people tried to shoot Obama in the White House. When I was in the Oval Office, when he was on the lawn, of course, they were stopped before they could get so. They even had a drone go over there before. That's why they blocked drones from going to different places, because there were drones going over there delivering things to Trump. And they didn't want, not Trump, Obama, sorry, Trump, but Obama. And that's why Obama made it a rule to make it so that drones can't go over the fence. They can't go near the White House. They'll just stall in midair and fall out of the sky, because that's supposed to be a no-fly zone. And for some reason, a drone got in there and was able to deliver a lot of letters to Obama. And how a lot of people were displeased. Remember that? Veterans were writing these letters and they used a drone to deliver them. Well, that person got in trouble. And of course, then they changed all the manufacturers to put malware in there so that they can't fly certain places now because of that. So, that's what happened there. And then last night, there was a meeting for Congressman Mr. Pratt. And I'm not going to say Gary Pratt, but Mr. Pratt. He was a congressman. It was at the Moe's Tavern here in Mechanicsville. And there was a big protest going on in Hanover last night due to either because they couldn't get in or because some of the people didn't like the man, or both. So they had it locked and nobody could get in. So I think people were really mad about that because they were under the impression that this was supposed to be a public meeting for Hanover Mechanicsville residents here where we live. And they actually locked the door. Now, a lot of people aren't talking about this, but we are, because we're telling you news that's really happening in Hanover. Right here and locally, where our station is, where we are located, Well, we broadcast locally to all you people out here. Okay, this is real news that happened here in our county last night. Okay, so nobody's talking about it. You don't hear nothing about it on Channel 6, do you? Nothing. But yeah, there was a protest there, and there was people outside making noise. They were displeased. I don't think they like that person. He's not the same Gary Pratt that I know that's of the Rifle Association. I think he's a cool guy. The American Rifle Association. That's not the same one. This was a different Pratt. I think it was Mathis, Gary Mathis or somebody. They didn't like him. Larry Pratt is who I'm thinking about. But this was Gary Mathis, and people were upset about him and displeased because they couldn't go in there too. I think that's what caused all that too. But it's just some of the things going on around the area in the nation as well as here locally at home in Mechanicsville and Hanover. Also, they're gonna. Lori brought this to my attention, or to everyone's attention, that they're going to move the grade point scale from a 7.0, from a 7-point system to a 10-point system. So basically what that's going to do is lower the standard of education and lower the standard of learning in this county. Because when you add more points to the scale, it actually lowers your standards. And that really, really does that. It's not my opinion, it really is fact. When I was in school, they had a 5-point grade scale system all the way to the 11th grade, and then they changed it to a 7-point scale. And it's been like that all the way till the 2016. Now they're going to make it a 10-point scale system, which is going to lower our standard of learning here in this county even more, because that gives the kids more wiggle room to get an A, or B, C, D, F, whatever. But it's just too many points. I think it should be 7. 5, that was harder to maintain a good grade when I was in school, because that's what it was. 5-point grade scale. A 95 to an A, Beth Ann, Stephen, and John was what it was when I was in school. And if you got a 94 to a 90, that was an A minus. Yeah. 5-point grade scale system. And then it went up when I was in 11th grade, that's when they changed it. Before y'all were probably born. They changed it to the 7-point scales where we are now, and then they're talking about raising it to 10. I don't think it's a good idea. I think we ought to just keep it at 7. Because it'll lower our SLA scores and it'll lower our learning scores. Believe me, it will. They higher the grade points, give you 10 points, it's going to lower that. The standards of learning in this county, it's going to be lowered. Because, they're giving you more points to get a better grade. And you might think it's good for the students, so more people can get higher grades of achievement, but really it lowers the standard of education and living. Because when you lower education standards, you lower the standards of overall living in this area. So I don't think it's a good idea. I do not. And that's just the real truth of what I'm telling you. It's not my opinion. It's real fact. It always does. So I think we need to really vote on that with our hands and vote on that with our feet and contact these people in the Ashland Hanover County School Board. That's where it's located. If you want to contact them, you can email them, you can snail mail them with paper mail, you can fax them up the wall, you can contact them by over the phone. Believe me, you just look up Ashland School Board and they'll have the numbers right there on their website of all the numbers who you can contact. And they will, you just inundate it. Let them know what you think. Because this 10-point grade scale is not a good idea overall for this county. It's just putting us back. We're going backwards. Our county, when I was in school, Hanover was recognized as one of the highest or one of the best counties to live in. As far as education, family goes, that's what it used to be. As a matter of fact, the water here, before it went to city, people talked about. Because the water tasted so good when it was on the well. Now it don't taste good at all. It tastes like crap. Because it's got all that chlorination and fluoride and crap in it. You see, when they went to the city, that's what did that, see. And see, people used to talk about that back in the 90s. In the 80s, people would talk about Hanover County's water, how good it tasted. Because it did taste really, really good. Because it came from a well. At one point, it really did. But now, because we got so much people living in the county and all, population is so big, the well can't fortify all the people that live here, so that's why it had to go to the city. And that's why the water tastes like a swimming pool. It smells like a swimming pool when you get it out of the tap. It really smells real bad. You need to have to buy extra filters to filter all that crap out of there. Yeah, I know. Yeah, you got to filter your own water, even though it's supposed to be already filtered. It just doesn't make sense, does it? No, it doesn't. But that's what you have to do. But like I'm saying, these are things you can vote on and talk about. In the county. If you got a problem with it, you need to talk to them. The cops can't do nothing about it. You got to talk to the people that are dealing with sewage and water and waste management with this county. If you want to deal with that, the smell and the taste of the water, that's who you talk to. The police don't have anything to do with that. If you want to talk about the grades or the education or what kind of education or how your kids are being treated, you want to talk to Hanover County School Board. That's who you talk to. Police don't have nothing to do with that. Okay? If you have an exploding light bulb that happens in your house, if you don't know how to do it, call somebody, but don't call the police to handle that. Okay? Call a neighbor. You call me, I know how to clean up those things. You don't need the police over here to do that. Okay? You get a neighbor that knows what to do and clean it up. It's very safe. And you'll be safe and they'll be safe because they know what they're doing. Get me to come over there, I'll clean it up. Just give me $10 or something. Because I'll probably dispose of it for you and clean up your place properly. Because there is special care when you're handling mercury bulbs, as well as special care in cleaning up incandescent gas too from regular light bulbs that are incandescent. And even LED bulbs, there's different ways you properly clean that up if the one were to break or explode in your home. So these are things a lot of people don't know about, but I do. So no, I won't come in there with an environmental suit. That's not necessary. What they recommend is if you get a broken light bulb, whether it's LED, incandescent, or even or CFL, you need to make sure it's compact fluorescent. So if you want extra brownie points, that's what that means. You want to make sure that you definitely want to open up all the windows in your home. Yeah, even if it's wintertime. Yeah, I know you got to open up all the windows in your home and doors to air all that crap out of there. And then it's what you really have to do. Is what they tell you to do on the website. When you buy these bulbs, they tell you, the manufacturers tell you this. The health places tell you to do this. How you have to clean it up. Because you can't get that mercury on your hands. You can't touch that mercury, that powder. You can't touch that stuff. Plus, it's in the air. It's toxic to the body. If it's broken. Now, if you have mercury-filled bulbs, because that's what's inside of them. If it's not broken, then it's not going to be toxic. Because if it breaks, that's where it's toxic. And you don't want to touch that stuff. Oh my, are you serious? You don't want to touch that stuff. So make sure that you, follow the directions on how to properly dispose and how to clean up an incandescent bulb, a CFL, or compact fluorescent bulb, or an LED bulb, electric liquid diode bulb. Because there are proper procedures on how to clean these bulbs up because of the chemicals that are in them. All right, now if they didn't break, then you don't have nothing to clean up. If they didn't explode, you don't have nothing to clean up. Okay? So that's what you want to try to avoid. Be very careful with those bulbs. They're really safe if you don't break them or they don't explode. Usually the CFL bulbs don't explode. It's usually the incandescent ones that do the exploding more so than the LED or CFLs. But sometimes they can blow up if their transformer malfunctions inside the bulb. Puts too much wattage coming out of there, it can blow them up, explode them. Something malfunctions. That's not supposed to happen, no, but it does happen. Okay, so it's something you need to be aware of. And then when it does, and if it does, you know what to do when it does. Okay. In case you weren't here, yes, we did have a Wednesday. Around 1:30 last week, we had in Harbor Square, we did have a silver car come through here with a suspect in it who was leading the police off of Coal Harbor Road on a car chase. And they ended up here in the back of my building in Harbor Square. They did catch a guy. He's apprehended. He's in jail right now. He stole a car out of one of the neighborhoods off of Coal Harbor Road, and that's what ensued a chase, and that's how they ended up here. Uh, but the neighbors were coming out while the people were going back. There was buckshot rifles. They were like, really what it was, there were 8 policemen, 4 cars here, and 4 detectives here. So, and a partridge in a pear tree, that's what I feel like saying, but really, I mean, it was really a circus out there. Really. But, they did a wonderful job. The police and all, and the detectives all worked together, and they did a good job, honestly and seriously. But it's good they got that person off the street. But, pretty much that's how it went. And I give kudos to Hanover County for doing their job and doing a wonderful job, as they always do. And the detectives, too, all working together in a team fashion to get this scum off the street. I say it was probably an initiation into a gang that went horribly wrong because the guy got caught, obviously. The guy didn't know his area around here, and that's why he ended up being arrested. As he went over there on the other side, the cops knew it, so they set up a perimeter behind in the cul-de-sac behind us, outside there. And after he got stuck in the back here, and he ran out over there through the woods, and they got him on the other side in the cul-de-sac. The end of story. Open and shut case, pretty much. So that's pretty much what happened. They say he removed something out of the trunk. They don't know if it was beer or soda. Don't know if that was stolen from a store. We don't really know. But the cops did remove it from the vehicle, out of the trunk. Other than that, that's in the news for Sunday. Peace, everyone. Be patient with each other. Love one another. Remember, you only have one life to live. So make the best of it. And remember to be patient. Don't overreact. Always listen first before you do any of that. Okay? Take care. Michael Silva's in the news for Sunday, January 29th already, 2016. Wow. Take care.